Welcome to my latest battle report. In this one, two beings that were formerly brothers are going to meet. They're going to duke it out in this 2,000 point match play game of Death Guard and World Eaters. Yes, people, they're both coming. Angron does look very angry. We're going to be playing a 2,000 point Tempest of War game with 6 objectives on the table. If you take one of them, you get 5 points. 2 of them, you get 10. More than your opponent, you get 15. Here's the Tempest of War deck. Here's the extra objective that you put down. Those are the primary scoring, and this is the standard deployment that we're doing. Of course, we're going to be drawing secondaries from the secondary card deck. I figured that almost everyone on the internet will be showing World Eaters doing match play stuff, doing all the grand narrative arcs of Omen things. But did anyone do Tempest of War? Well, I don't know. I'll find out after I'm filming this the day before this comes out. The battle mat is available from urbanmats.com, and all the scenery that you see in front of you that isn't Games Workshop is all gloriously done by marchofwar.co.uk. So we're filming this the day before. When this battle report comes out, the Codex World Eaters will be available for pre-order from Games Workshop, along with all a bunch of the new models and Angron. Yes, it's another Demon Primarch. He's back in his house. Angron is now available for pre-order. Thank you to Games Workshop for sending this through to me and lots of other content creators so we can get our glorious chores into it. Now, I'm joined today by one of the OGs from Winter's SEO channel, Alex SEO. Say hi, Alex SEO.
Hi, Alex SEO.
So, when did you start collecting World Eaters?
Just over a year ago.
So you got them when they weren't cool?
Yeah, when they're at their worst, that's when I came in.
Why did you come into World Eaters when they're the worst? They had those weird, derpy World Eater blood, those kits.
Yeah, I know. I did Game Workshop a favour. I bought all the old derby kits, and they're all on the table.
What do you think of the new, not derby kits?
I like it. I like them. I've not built any yet, but I've seen the box.
And well, you've seen Angron.
Seen Angron? He's over there. Yep.
Yep. And we did a play test. We ran through. And you've got something called Blood Tithe now, yes. Right? And Blood Tithe is the more stuff that dies, mine or yours, you get point. Corn cares not. As long as blood is flowing. What did you think of the Blood Tithe?
It was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It basically adds stuff to your chapter tactic as you go through the game, because it applies to everything all the time for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite cool. It's like as stuff dies, you sort of feel a bit like, oh, and then you think, oh, it's alright though, I've got some more points. My army just got better. So it's a good. It takes the edge off when your stuff dies.
It takes the edge off. You kind of want it to die.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Please kill my rhinos.
I like your horn. So 2,000 points of Tempest of War, brother on brother. Which Chaos God is the bestest? Nurgle, obviously. Let's have a look at these armies, but before we do, a quick word from my sponsor. Hi, and thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to support me, you can become a channel member. At tier 3, you get loads of extra content in my Discord as well. Right, back to the battle report. And in the stinking corner, representing the Chaos God of Nurgle, we have my Death Guard Warband, the end of all things. They are inexorable, they always move. They're not slowed by anything when they move. They have contagions, so the closer that the convoys get to us, the weaker they feel. We always fire rapid fire with militia. Everything's objective secured. All the Terminators and the troops there, all OBSEC, and my Poxwalkers down here as well, or OBSEC. And there's something else I'm forgetting, plague weapons across the board. Anyway, it's a patrol with a Supreme Command detachment in it. So I've got all my CPs to play with, and I only need to bring a patrol. Don't need a battalion or any of that crazy stuff to take on the convoys. We've been fighting this war for 10,000 years, the Long War. And we will continue to fight, and we will continue to excel. My warlord, of course, is Moratrion, the bringer of judgment. He's got 4 warlord traits, Alex.
Something like that.
One of them is the gloaming bloat, which basically it turns off re-rolls to hit and wound within a certain range. One is the living plague. That turns off auras within 3 inches. And then he's got contagions always at 9-inch range. So basically, the closer that you get to him, the nastier it is, okay? He's also got like a 5-up shrug, and so it'll all come up in the game. I'll talk about it in the game. Here is my Demon Prince. He is Fluffy. That's not his name, but that's what everyone else calls him because it makes him really annoyed, and you want an annoyed Demon Prince running into battle. And he's got the Warpin's XR hide with his Hellforged sword. So he's re-rolling all hits and all wounds all the time. So he's no joke either. We've got a Hell Brute. We've got a unit of crawlers. We've got 2 units of haulers. The Hell Brute's got a las cannon. The drone over there has got the heavy blight lord. Basically, we brought a lot of guns because, you know, we don't want you rampaging amongst our lines. That would be not good. 7 Plague Marines with all the toys. There's flails, blight launchers, plasmas in there. 7 Terminators, Blight Lord Terminators with all the toys in there, and 20 Poxwalkers. These were World Eaters that we turned to our cause some moments ago. So I've got guns and I've got punch. Obviously not as much punch as the World Eaters. All they do is punch. I'm hoping that the Poxwalkers and the Terminators at least can slug a unit. Moratrion should be a black pit into those thrown against him never return. But first turn could be a thing. Anyway, let's have a look at the World Eaters. And here we have the brand new shiny World Eaters. They get +1 strength and attack when they charge or are charged or heroically intervene. I managed to get Angron done and some Exalted 8-bound done before this. Got a couple of more free models from Games Workshop. Thank you, Games Workshop, said that already. So, but I didn't manage to get round to them. But these are a beautiful addition to your army because I like the new models.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, you've got the old kits. Look how far we've come. Look, that is what it used to be like. And now it is. I think you said to me off camera, like, this is, you know, this is Khan. You've bought old Khan. And Angron used to have that axe.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that axe anymore.
So there's 2 different sub-factions in the codex.
Yes.
One is the World Eaters.
Yes.
And the other one is the Disciples of the Red Angel.
Okay.
Which is all built around Angron.
Okay.
Either way, he has to be your warlord. We're running normal World Eaters today.
If you bring him, he has to be a warlord.
If you bring him, he has to be a warlord.
Yeah.
To play the Disciples of the Red Angel, you have to bring him.
Okay.
But you actually can't bring 3/4 of the stuff on the table. It has to all be Khorne Demon or Land Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're playing World Eaters.
Right.
We get the Blood Tithe,
Yeah.
which is you spend points, your army levels up. You'll see it as we go through, I guess. But we've got the classic. We've got Angron. We've got Khan. Khan's good.
He's got like 10 attacks on the charge.
10 attacks on charge. He's quite choppy.
Yes.
And he's got Khan's plasma pistol.
Yes.
Literally named after himself.
Literally, the gun is called Khan's plasma pistol.
Yep.
Not Terry's.
No, Khan's.
Khan's.
Mine.
Yeah.
And then we've got Demon Prince.
Yes.
With a pair of talons and some wings.
Okay.
They just sort of follow him, Angron around.
More attacks than your average Demon Prince.
Yeah, he's got like 10 on the charge.
And it's 4+ invulnerable save against shooting, 5+ invulnerable save in close combat, whereas mine is only a 5 up all round, you see.
Yeah,
because you've got the updated rules. Okay.
So we've got 3 units of 8.
Yes.
Khorne Berserkers.
Yes.
The little old guys. I need to put some base extenders on those.
You are going to base extend them up.
I am, yeah.
And add
at the
some
moment,
more.
they look like Poxwalkers. It's bad.
Right, okay. Should mention now that all their weapons do the same thing.
Yes.
They're all -2 1 damage.
Yeah, a bit like they did with the Terminators.
Because all the Terminator weapons are -3 1 damage. All of these guys are -2 1 damage with a bajillion attacks because you have got 8 Terminators.
We've got 8 Terminators.
And there is a Power Fist hidden in there somewhere.
And the Sergeant's got a fist.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then we've got 3 Exalted 8-bound.
Right, what's that big choppy stick on the champion going from?
So it basically gives him 2 attacks for each attack. So he ends up with 12 attacks on the charge.
And 10
That's
attacks
nice.
if he's not charging.
Yeah.
That is, well, yeah, 12 attacks on one dude is very nice. Like my Smash Captain with the Teeth of Terror and everything can get up to 9, and I thought that was quite handy.
Yeah. They're pretty good as well. They're strength 6, -3, you know.
You brought some guns. Look, there's a Hellbrute.
Yeah, token effort.
Why?
Just in case we need to crack something before we eat the meat inside.
Okay, and I guess someone has to stay back.
Yeah, someone's got to shoot from the back, right?
And then 3 rhinos to put your dudes in.
Yep, that's right.
So basically, I'm looking at this list thinking everything's coming forward except for the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing we did forget.
What?
Is he's got my relic.
Oh, what's the relic?
It's called...
Something, and it's -1 to wound.
Something Burning Ire.
Right, okay. The Helm of Brazen Ire.
That's what it's called.
Okay, so which Chaos God is the better Chaos God, Al?
Khorne, obviously.
Why?
Because he doesn't do any of this psychic stuff. He doesn't mess around with that. He just likes blood.
But everything will die. Everything will succumb. Nurgle will be the last god standing.
We're just hastening the tide.
Okay,
You know?
fair enough.
You wait for stuff to die. We get in there and do it.
Well, we do like to push things over the edge with the occasional bit of smallpox or something like that. Okay, here we are after deployment. You'll notice that Mortarion's all the way over here because Alex says he'll had less to deploy than me. And when he put the angry boy himself all the way out on this flank, because he moved 16 so he can move in and then start sweeping along, I thought, let's stay as far away from Angron as possible. Maybe I could do the same thing by coming on from over here. It's all very exciting here. There's a Hellbrute and troops, Demon and troops, Angron and troops, and your Terminators and Exalted Ape Band are in reserve.
Yeah.
You're going to deep strike them in. There is a blood tithe thing that you can get. What's it? It's like +1 a charge or something?
+1 charge, yeah.
For a couple of
3 points.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you should have those 3 points by the start of turn 2 for when they come deep striking in. Troops and drone over here with Morty. The crawlers, the haulers, the blight, those things, they're the shortest range guns in my army with those multi-melters, so they really have to go in the centre, and the zombies are going to move up towards the Crying Angel over here. And then I have 7 Plague Marines, my Demon Prince, and a Hellbrute who are now offered up in sacrificial style to Angron. But who will get to go first? Which brother can spill blood first? We need to roll off, Al. I don't know if I want to go first. Do you want to go first?
Always.
You rolled a 5. I rolled a 5. Ooh, the tension's building. You rolled a 5 again. I rolled a 4. The World Eaters have the jump on the Death Guard. Of course they do. So let's find out what they get. Well, orders. Angron bellows out in turn 1. So Angron just wants to go forward. Here we are after paying a CP to recycle one of these. He wants to kill as much as possible, blood and guts. Unlikely in turn 1, but, you know, it's Angron. Storming hostile objectives as well. Great, okay, but I'm way back in my deployment zone and getting to my deployment zone and doing actions, deploying teleport. These are all things that are lovely and are about taking the board, but unlikely or impossible in turn 1. At the end of the World Eaters movement phase, something very unpredictable has happened, Alex SEO. They've all come screaming forward.
I know.
I would have never thought that.
Couldn't have called it, could you?
And you're on 5 of the 6 objectives. That Hellbrute holding on to 1 there. Triple Rhinos moving up the centre of the board. And Angron has been selfish and buffed himself. He's re-rolling hits right now. And he's bellowing out challenges so no one can fall back with him. I think I didn't mention where my Terminators are. They're also in reserve as well. Yeah, that is a potential first turn charge from Angron as well. He moves a long old way, but we do have some shots with the Hellbrute on the left flank. Now, Mortarion's going to be hard to bring down, but you've got some other targets here, Alex Sissio. What are you firing at? Mortarion. Okay, make a start on him.
Let's make a start.
Last cannons, both of them hit. 3s to wound. And both of them wound, and I make both of my 4+ invulnerable saves. Here's the missile.
So we'll get him out of the way.
It hits. It punches through. And I'll command point that. And doesn't get deflected. Instead forcing 5 saves, 5 shrugs, 4 shrugs. He reduces all damage by 1. Mortarion takes 3 wounds. He's on 15 wounds remaining, bleeding pus, and bellowing out challenges to his brother on the other side of the table. Why did you deploy all the way over there? I'm on this side, and I told you I was over here, and that's the story I'm sticking with. That's the story that happened here. Angron has got an 8-inch charge. He's, yeah, so good luck. There's no point in overwatching him. And that's a 10. Of course he comes flying in. Crunch. Angron comes smashing in. He's got 2 types of attacks. The overhand and this. Basically the 39 attacks. His 13 attacks go up by 3. He's going to hit on 2s. And we're going to reroll some 1s. After the rerolls, he misses once, and he's at 10. So he wounds on 2s.
That's a lot of 1s.
That's a lot of 1s. And those 39 attacks translate into lots of wounds. And then -3, 1 damage. I need 6s. And he kills a lot of Plague Marines. I counted it up. 13.5.
13.5.
There was 7 there. And they get melted. You now have the interesting choice of wanting to consolidate into my Demon Prince or not.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you're going to do it?
Let's do it.
Bring it on. I'm quite excited for this. The first time my Demon Prince gets to hit Angron. Hitting on 2s, and I reroll all failed hits and all failed wounds because of the Warp Insect Hive. I'm winning him on 3s because of contagions. Rerolling that. Okay, so that many 4-up. 5 4-up invulnerable saves on the Red Angel. I did fail 3 of them. Trying to command point one of them. You do command point one of them, so that's 6 wounds instead. And here's the Malefic Talon, which hits, and this will actually wound on, well, it wounds on that. That's an invulnerable save as well, which you make. Angron is on 10 wounds left, and that is the end of World Eater's turn 1. They're on every single objective except for the one back in my deployment zone. They didn't storm a hostile objective, deploy, teleport home, or complete any of their secondaries yet, but they're perfectly set up for a second turn charge everywhere. And my Demon Prince cannot fall out of close combat because that is the bonus that Angron's got 3 to pick from.
He's got 3 auras.
Right.
One of them is +1 attack to all core within 6.
An extra attack.
An extra attack.
To everyone, not pick a unit.
Everyone core.
Wow.
Yeah. The other one is reroll 1s to hit.
Okay.
To everything within 6. That's not core, so that is everything.
Okay.
And the other one is you can just never fall back within 6 inches.
Which is quite useful because then it stops them getting shot.
Yeah, that's why I piled into you. Hoping that you do less damage than all the multi-melters and entropy cannons.
Well, I think you're going to kill Fluffy.
We'll see.
But first, what will Mortarion's orders be in Death Guard turn 1? My orders are also a mixed bag. Battlefield Supremacy, try and regain control of this battlefield by taking at least 3 objectives and more than my opponent. And there's 6 objectives on the table. Grind them down, kill more in this turn than the World Eaters kill in their next turn. And the World Eaters are going to be very good at killing in the next turn. And deploy a teleport homer in the backfield of the World Eaters. I also redrew one of these cards because the orders are unclear. The orders are unclear. The Death Guard leap at the chance for taking the fight straight to the World Eaters by keeping their tanks in the backfield and their flyer drone in the backfield over here. And I pulled my Helmbrute back into this corner, hoping that Angry Boy will just come into this corner next turn and maybe I can keep him away from the rest of my army. I am going to go charging in with a unit of Poxwalkers as well because there's the Mutant Strain. I could give him a touch of Grandfather's Gift and I could potentially hurt him. But over here, I think, is where most of my forces lay. So here is where I need to throw down most of my energy. Before all of that, however, we are going to try and smite Angron. I mean, I can Miasma of Pestilence him. I've got Miasma of Pestilence on both of my characters. But I think he's dead anyway. So let's smite Angron. And I fail. So let's actually CP this because the charge of the Poxwalkers, 1, they potentially could roll lots of 6s and kill Angron in close combat. And 2, if Poxwalkers manage to do that, it'd be hilarious. So let's try and smite him again. This time it's a super smite. Now you have got a 1 CP strat that you can burn.
I think I will.
Scorn of Sorcery.
Yes.
On a 4+, you deny it. No. Looking for big money here. Angron's on 10 wounds remaining. And that's a 1. No! He's still on 9 wounds remaining. Okay, coming around here to Mortarion. He has Curse the Leper, Gift of Plagues, Miasma of Pestilence, and Smite. And the only thing that really will help him right now is another Smite. Drop dice don't count. And his Smite fails. That's the end of my Psychic phase. Alright, Morty Boy will pull out the lantern, his plasma pistol, shoot at that Rhino, wound that Rhino. The Rhino needs a 6 against the power of this weapon, and the lantern just splashes off its hull. Okay, we're going to fire the Tonk down at this... 1 minute. No, 1 minute. I'm going to fire at the Rhino. They're scary. They need to go. Here's the entropy cannons. One of them hits and doesn't wound, and the mortar comes up and over. At least I've got 6 shots. Which hit on 3s and will wound on 3s. Just checking to see if Arch Contaminator kicked in. It didn't kick in, so these are -2 on the save. So 5 up saves, and that is only 2 wounds off that Rhino. Then the stubby gun in the nose of the tank also fired in, and the Rhino is on 6 wounds remaining. Now I'm going to fire the heavy blight launcher into them. What I was hoping is it was cracked open first, and then the heavy blight launcher would hit. Mind you, potentially I could crack it open with another tank. So let's fire the other tank in. Entropy cannons. Only one of them hits again. Do I want to CP it? Do I want it? Yes, I do. 2 of them hit. And these are strength 8 versus toughness 7, so they both wound. You don't get a save, and it is 5. It's 11 damage. It's 11 damage. That is a dead Rhino, which will go kaboom on a 6. And I think there's 8 guys inside it as well. It does go blow. It does. Is Mortarion close enough? Of course he isn't close enough. He knows exactly where to stand. Don't roll any 1s, Al, as people come climbing out of the Rhino. I think you're okay. You're okay. Everybody's okay. And with the death of that rhino, that's a couple more blood type points. One for killing a unit, and you get one if you kill a vehicle in a phase, no matter how many vehicles it is. Talking about killing some vehicles, I've got these guys down here. Now, I'm going to be really greedy. I'm going to put 1 into 1 and 1 into... Am I?
Splitting fire always works.
Splitting fire always works, yeah. 1 into 1. So one of the multi-motor hits and wounds, no armor save at this range, and it does 6 damage. Then the missile launcher hits on a 3 and wounds on a... Ooh, it's a 5-up save. And you make the save. Smashes into the hull, but that rhino isn't out of the fight. Let's try and open the other tin can. Melters. Wound on 3s with no saves. No! 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 And the missile hits and it doesn't wound. So even if I fired them all at one rhino, it wouldn't have done anything anyway. That is the end of my shooting. Oh no, I've got the dreadnought over here as well. The twin las cannon coming into that rhino. He hits on 3s and they wound that rhino on 3s. And you need a 6-up save against the las cannon hit. And I can't see it.
That is a 2.
That's a 2, and that does 2 damage. So one of the rhinos on 4 wounds, one of the rhinos on 2 wounds. I've opened up one of the tin cans and exposed one of them, some of the corn berserkers over here, and that's pretty much it. Oh dear. Their wave in turn 2 is going to be very painful. But before we get to that, the charge of the Poxwalkers into Angron. They charge 11 inches. They really want to get in there. The stinky zombies start scrabbling all around Angron's feet. Alex has spent a couple of blood type points on giving his entire army a 5-up shrug to mortal wounds for the rest of the game. You spend them at the end of the phase.
Yeah, at the end of your shooting phase.
And you can only buy 1 per phase. But you can do it at the end of the shooting phase, then the end of the fight phase, then the end of the morale phase. I've got another charge I'd like to make over here as well, which is Moratrion, and trying to get into those corn berserkers. I need a 10. Let's CP that, because I'll be on that objective if I kill all of them. And it's a 9. It's close, but no cigar. So now we go on to the fight phase, and Poxwalkers strike first. Right, I pile in. 20 Poxwalkers have 40 attacks. So spend a CP on the mutant strain. You can like this, Alex. On every 6, I do mortal wounds to Moratrion. Oh, sorry, Angron, obviously. And 1s, I do mortal wounds to myself. These are to hit. And how many wounds is Angron left on?
9.
I do 10 mortal wounds to Angron. All right, 5-up feel no pains to mortal wounds, which you just paid for.
He's dead.
You make none of them. Even before I take down Angron. He doesn't explode. He doesn't do anything like that. Poxwalkers versus Angron. It's a win for the Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers is this rule, right? That when you kill a model, you turn it into a zombie and you add it back.
That's a big ass zombie.
Yeah. And I shrug one of the mortal wounds I did to myself. I lose 50. I'm going to get 14 left. There's 16 Poxwalkers remaining after that glorious attack. The charge of the Poxwalkers. Angron will never live that down in the canteen when him and Moratrion are having tea and penguins later on. That is the end of my turn 1. That may not be the end that we see of Angron. He is a supernova. He is a shooting star. He cannot be stopped. And when he manifests on the material plane, he can resurge. He can be reborn. So the World Eaters will get 10 points on the primaries at the start of their turn 2, making it 10 points to 0. Let's find out what their orders are as well in World Eaters turn 2. The World Eaters will fight on. They want to keep spilling blood, get killed 2 more units for blood and guts, kill any of the characters, like Moratrion, for example, for assassinate, and also storm one of the objectives they don't currently control. The World Eaters respond the only way they know how, with violence, speed, and momentum. Out here in the wastes, on the edge of the city, the unit that got blown out of the Rhino is coming straight for Moratrion, and there's a flash of a teleport homer. And both the unit of Terminators and the Exalted 8-bound, those bound with 8 demons crawling inside their bodies, have deep struck in. Moratrion's on 15 wounds remaining. He's also looking at a las cannon missile launcher Hellbrute. It looks like you're going to feed the black hole.
We're going to start.
Will he be able to withstand this, I wonder, or will it just be a black hole? I mean, you can't re-roll ones to hit or wound. He turns off all the auras. He does, and he's a tank. I mean, Angron, I don't want to keep reminding you, but Angron did die to Poxwalkers.
Exactly.
Angron did, yeah, he'll be
Corn
back.
cares
Though.
not.
He'll be back. You need six blood tithe points to bring Angron back.
Yeah, that's right.
And he comes back once per game. But I don't think... I mean, Angron just died to Poxwalkers. But I don't think all of this is enough to bring Moratrion down. I think you're going to need more.
No, I think we've got plenty. We just need to take a couple of 8-inch charges.
Why 8-inch charges?
Because I paid 3 points to give my whole army +1 charge.
All right. So your army now is +1 strength and attack on the charge, +1 to charge,
and 5 up stroke to mortal wounds.
Okay, cool. I like the fact that it isn't turned on every turn as well. It just keeps going and going and going. In the middle. The guys got out of the Rhino here, and there is the really old Khan the Betrayer model along with a demon about to go into them. I think they're dead. And over here, that Rhino went back, not before dislodging another unit of Khorne Berserkers to try and attack my Poxwalkers on this flank. Basically, the World Eater's enraged by the death of Angron, or not the death of Angron. He's been knocked back into the warp temporarily, and then he'll come flying back out because he is a supernova. But enraged by the ping pong, what's the spun when you hit the thing and it swings around the thing? You know, the one on the ball with the... Have you got a shooting phase?
Yes.
Hellbrute into Moratrion, las cannons on 3s, and they both hit 3s to wound, and one of them wounds command point.
Command point.
Doesn't help you, and I don't make my 4-up invulnerable save. Command point, and I don't make my 4-up invulnerable save, and it does 1 damage, which Moratrion doesn't shrug. It does chip into him. Does have a missile as well, which hits. And wounds on a 4 doesn't wound. There are more shots, however. There are combi bolters which will wound him on 6s, and pistols that will wound him on 6s. All of these shots now coming from the infantry surrounding Moratrion, rolling off camera, and he didn't make any wounds. There was also a couple of small arm shots over here into the Blight Haulers, and then by the time we got down to the Poxwalkers, you said you can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah.
They did.
Shot my whole army, did 1 wound.
It's about charging here. So we've got charging units, the Khorne Berserkers going into the Poxwalkers on the right flank. We've got Khorne Berserkers, Khan the Betrayer, and a Demon Prince coming up the centre. And I'm going to overwatch this, and none of the melters hit, and none of the missiles hit either. And then I'll do the spurty things in their teeth. Then we did some charging, the Khorne Berserkers going straight into those unit of Blight Crawlers there, and the Poxwalkers are charged. Out here in the waste though, Moratrion's going to face 2 targets. We're starting off with the Terminators. It's an 8.
It's an 8.
Does Khorne want it? Khorne don't want it. Unless
Khorne
you want
wants to re-roll, that's all.
Khorne wants to... That sounds very Zinchi, doing a re-roll. Twisting the hands of fate. They don't get in. The Terminators don't get in. What about the Exalted 8 mount? They also need an 8. They get a 7 as well. And then over here, you only need a 3, and you will be in with the Khorne Berserkers. They get a 5, and they go charging in, and will attack Moratrion unsupported. And at the end of the charge phase, the Khorne Berserkers tail back a little bit to try and retain control of that objective, because they've been fighting the Long War for 10,000 years now. They might be crazy berserker types, but they're also legionaries. They also know how to win wars. And they're waiting for the Terminators and Exalted 8-bound to come in. But you're not starting there.
No.
Because you think, what did you say? You can't kill Moratrion.
Yes.
And in fact, the thing that you were most worried about was the Curse of the Walking Pox.
Yeah, well, it was nasty. It just killed my Primarch, man.
I did just kill your Primarch.
So they need to die.
So Khorne Berserkers versus Poxwalkers. You're not spending any strats on anything, hoping that this is enough. It's 41 attacks from a unit of 8. And these will hit on 3s. Nice. Coming in at strength 6 versus toughness 4, so wounding on 3s. These are all like AP -2, 1 damage. And that might not be all of them, because Poxwalkers do have a 6-up shrug. Mind you, there's 16 left there. 5, 10. I think there's 2 left. There is 2 left, down here, next to my Demon Prince, and I've pulled away so far that the Khorne Berserkers can't consolidate into me, but I have given up that objective. So you're there. I could pay 2 CP to interrupt, they're dead. Well, Moratrion versus... It'd be embarrassing if your Khorne Berserkers took me down. Imagine if you had a Demon Primarch and he got taken out by, say, I don't know, right off the top of my head,
No.
Poxwalkers.
It's
Imagine
okay.
that happened. What?
Getting killed by Khorne Berserkers is not that bad. Getting killed by Poxwalkers is shameful.
Yeah, but
Shameful.
I mean, no one would get killed by Poxwalkers, would they?
It's a thing.
Right, I'm going to interrupt. I could let those Khorne Berserkers hit me, but you might take 6 wounds or something off. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to hit you on 2s with 21 attacks, and he rerolls his own hits because of shouting at himself. And I'm winning on 2s. And it's a plague weapon. So that's 20 wounds at -2/1 damage. So the Khorne Berserkers need to make 25 up saves. See, Angron's -3. Mortarion's only -2. And that was terrible rolling.
Yeah.
That's 8.5 World Eaters dead. That's the whole squad.
That might be all of them.
Blood for the Blood God, though. That's another blood type point. Now, actually, that intervention might turn out to be very critical, in fact, because now Mortarion is free to rampage on in my turn, whereas on the other side of the table, Angron got taken out by Poxwalkers. I can't repeat it enough. But now we're into World Eaters hitting my Blight Crawlers. The crawly things. We're going to do Calm first with Gornchild. 10 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s. And Strength 7 wounds on 4s. And this is a really bad roll again. And it's -4, 3 damage. 1 wound comes through and I fail my demon save. One of these gets knocked down to 7 wounds. Then the Berserkers hit 41 times on 3s. And reroll 1s, there's a demon right there. And then Strength 6 versus Toughness 7 is you're wounding on 5s, but rerolling 1s to wound because Khan is there. And you spent a CP on Gory Dismemberment. Tell us what Gory Dismemberment does, Alex.
Oh, look, all these 6s. That's handy because 6s to wound.
Yes.
More to wound in addition. Maximum of 6, though.
Okay. And that's what I like it because you can put it on any core unit. Yeah. An extra 6s. What's this? Oh, these are the ones.
These are the ones we rolled.
Brilliant. All right, so these 9 mortal wounds max out at 6 mortal wounds. And that's in addition. So I need to save all of these. -2 is 5 ups everywhere. And with the wounds that Khan inflicted, that's enough to wipe out the squad. The demon doesn't even need to fight, but he was buffing the crap out of them. These guys blow up on 4s. They both blow up.
Boom, boom.
Everyone's taking 2 mortal wounds, dude. 2 mortal wounds on Khan, but you've got that 5-up shrug now. It lasts your whole army.
Get to roll.
You shrugs one of them, 5 wounds remaining. On the Khorne Berserkers, one of them gets taken out. And the demon shrugs one of them as well. Bits of metal exploding all over the place as the World Eaters go rampaging through those 2 demonic machines. And at the end of the fight phase, there's a big gap in the center of the table as the demon stays back there, snuggling in with all his troops, so stray las cannon shots can't just smack him in the face. The World Eaters definitely have control of the center next to the Weeping Angel. And around this flank, there's 8 Khorne Berserkers staring down my Hellbrute. 2 Poxwalkers that don't need to take morale because they're just zombies. They love brains. They're next to Fluffy. I've still got 7 Terminators that can drop in as well. The World Eaters have stormed a hostile objective and they've got their Blood and Guts secondary as well, which means they're up to 20 points. But let's find out what the orders are for the Death Guard in Mortarion's turn 2. 1 minute, Alex. You don't get Blood and Guts because there's 2 Poxwalkers remaining down here. The Poxwalkers that took down a demon Primarch Angron. If anyone missed that earlier on, they're still in the fight. Right, now let's have a look at my orders. At the start of my turn, I only get 5 points on the primary, but I did get the Grind Them Down secondary objective as well. Long story short, 5 points behind. 10 points for the good guys, and 15 points for the nasty, nasty World Eaters. I want to storm a hostile objective and kill 3 units with guns for overwhelming firepower. Still got Battlefield Supremacy in my hand because I've got a lot of OBSEC out there, so maybe I can spread across multiple objectives. Here we are at the end of my movement phase. I'll not lie to you, I got very lucky. I mean, a whole unit of Khorne Berserkers charged Mortarion, and he interrupted and killed them all. And I managed to get rid of Angron. So that was very lucky. So I can hopefully make them pay here. Right down in the ruins of the city over here. I'm going to send in a Demon Prince, my Hellbrute, and some Poxwalkers to try and storm this hostile objective. And often when you bring in Terminators or deep striking units, you feel almost compelled to put them in the far reaches of the battlefield. Like, hey, I couldn't have got this unit here unless I brought some deep striking stuff. And sometimes it feels a bit weird just deep striking them in your deployment zone, which is what I've done with these Terminators here. But let's face it, there's 1, 2, 3 objectives down in the ruins next to the statue. And there's a demon prince. There's Khan the Betrayer, and there is like 18 Khorne Berserkers down here. So it is the best place for my Terminators to be. And if I'd have put them over that side, the Rhinos would push in the Deep Strike even further back. I need some backbone in the ruins of the city. And then out in the wastes, well, this is looking like our place, particularly after Moratrion does some damage over here. He's going to start by putting miasma of pestilence on himself, and that passes. Do you want to scorn a sorcery that, or do you want to wait for another? Oh, you want to. Yeah. 4 up, you block this.
I want to hurt him.
You don't block it. The next thing he's going to do is give these guys a little gift.
Thank you.
He's going to give them the gift of plagues, or curse of the leper. The curse. I'll give you the gift of plagues first. Gift of plagues. Drop dice don't count. That works. Gift of contagion, sorry. They're -1 strength now. And now I'll give them a curse after giving them a gift, the curse of the leper. And he can't stop it. And on 4s, I do mortal wounds to you because that exceeds your toughness. Because your toughness is reduced because of my contagion rotting stuff. You do have feel no pains against that, though. 4, feel no pains. And only one of the Terminators dies. But I am -1 to hit at the end of the psychic phase. I have killed one and reduced their strength. And then we're coming all the way over here to Fluffy, who will also smite. And that fails. So now we're on to the shooting phase. Missile and the twin Laz from the Hellbrute, point blank range into those Khorne Berserkers. Both of those shots hit. And only one of those shots wounds. You need a 6-up save to negate that, which you fail. And that does 2 damage and blows one off their feet. But that's all the shooting attack that I have out in the ruins. Next up, in the center, my Blightlord Terminators are going to pump round after round into the Khorne Berserkers down there. I'm hitting on 2s because I spent a CP on Vermid Whispers. And bolt guns wound Berserkers on 4s. That's 10 3-up saves. And I tickle one. Not killing any yet, but there is a Blight Launcher which hits on 2s and wounds on that. This is a 5-up save on the injured Khorne Berserker, and he gets taken out. Now, Khorne Berserkers have a new rule. Now I've taken one of them out. What's the new rule?
It's called like Blood Surge.
Okay.
And when you lose a model in the shooting phase,
yes,
you may roll a d6 and move that many inches towards the closest enemy unit.
Which would be my Berserkers.
It would be your Terminators.
I like the fact that it's not linked to just one shooting attack. If that unit gets shot 3 times, they can move forward d6, move forward d6, move forward.
As long as you take a casualty.
Yeah. Well, right now it's a 9-inch charge to Khan and a 9-inch charge to your demon and a 10-inch charge to them. So
let's do it.
It's a new rule. Let's give it a go.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. They're surging forward 1. Wow. So it's a 9-inch charge to everyone. Zinch, see, Zinch, that's the number of Zinch. It's like making it a gamble, making it a thing. You're taunting me.
Come here.
I forgot to charge. Oh, that's the shooting. Sorry, more shots. Because you're moving now. I'm thinking it's the charge phase.
No, you've got lots of shooting left.
More shots. I need to kill something. I've got overwhelming firepower, so I need to kill multiple things. So what we're doing is we're going to shoot this Plague Burst Crawler into that Rhino. Do you want a smoke screen or not? It's only on 4 wounds.
Please kill it.
What? Why? 1 hit.
2 points to kill that. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, you do. 2 blood type points. I do wound it. You don't get a save. It's AP -4, and it's a minimum 4 damage. I do kill it.
Does it blow up?
Does it blow up? No, but you do get 2 blood type points because I've killed another unit and a vehicle's died this phase. You're up to 5 blood type points now. When you get to 6, there's what's this 2 6s? One is bring Angron back, and the other one is like
6 is hit auto wounds.
6 is that's nasty for your whole army. Okay, let's shoot this drone at the unit of Berserkers in the middle because I could shoot your Demon Prince now. Mind you, he's got -1 to wound, hasn't he?
He's closer as well.
No. Here, oh yeah, they'll be closer. You're right, and he's within 3. So I'm going to shoot him with my heavy blight launchers anyway. Let's take out some of those Khorne Berserkers. They're very scary. Or do I take these out?
Morty's got that, surely.
Morty, wow, you've got 5 up and vulnerable saves. You might walk through it. I feel like I need to put some shots here. But no, Khorne Berserkers, go with first gut. My first instinct said shoot the Khorne Berserkers. This is a damage 2 weapon, and they've got 2 wounds. And this will wound them on 3s. And it is -3, so you need 3 6-up saves, or Khorne Berserkers scream and die.
No problem.
And 3 of them scream and die. And you can surge forward again if you want to, because they just got shot one more time, and bring them closer, please, towards my Blight Lord Terminators. Not surging then. No. Staying on the objective secured style. This tank has lined up to put shots. What I'm going to do is with Blight Bombardment, I think it's called, and make my damage 3 on the mortar. So the crawler is going to put the damage 3 mortar shells into Terminators, and the entropy cannons, I want to get rid of that Dreadnought. It's the only thing that can shoot, and I missed with the entropy cannons. Here's the mortar, 1 shot. Do I bother come out? Yeah, command point it. Up to 2 shots. This hits you on 3s, and it will wound you on 2s. And you need to make, it's -2. So 4 up invulnerable saves or death on your Terminators. Death. That was 2 CP to kill 2 Terminators. I'm still happy with it. Let's pull out the lantern one more time and shoot at them as well. Mortarion hits them. Mortarion can't, it's not a plague weapon. So you can't reroll 1s to wound. It's the only thing that you can't. No. I've already did it to do the mortar thing, to reroll the number of shots on the mortar. Right, last thing left to shoot. This unit of Plague Marines, there's a couple of them in line of sight and range of only your Demon Prince. Basically, there were a couple back here that had to shoot at the Terminators and Exalted. I did that, no wounds caused. But there is the Plasma Gunner and the Blight Launcher right at the front. They're going to shoot at your demon. Here's the plasma. He keeps his finger on the trigger because it's been jammed down. It's really, really old. That gets it to strength 8. Your toughness
6.
So that would be 5s to wound, 3s to wound.
3 to wound.
4 up invulnerable saves to shooting, though, demon princes.
4s to wound because of the -1 to wound.
4s to wound because of the -1 to wound. Warlord trait, yes.
Yeah, the icon thing.
So 4 up invuln, and he blocks the plasma shot. And you do, great. Blight Launcher. Hits both times, so strength 6 toughness. This will be 5s to wound then.
Yes.
It's plague weapon. 1 4+ invulnerable save. Splash acid splashes over your demon prince, taking
2 damage.
2 damage. Yeah.
Yes.
Taking 2 wounds off of him, dropping him down to 5 wounds remaining, and that is the end of my shooting phase. I've killed how many Terminators? 3 in the end, or 2?
2.
I killed a couple of Terminators. I haven't.
1 with a smite.
Oh, that was right. Yeah. Haven't wounded that hell brute left. There's still some weapons over here, particularly a demon prince stood there. Well, part 2 is the charge phase. So let's start over here with my demon prince charging your Khorne Berserkers and try and get you off of this objective. It's a 3-inch charge. That'll do it. He goes charging up the street there. The hell brute needs a 7 or an 8. That's an 8. So, charges on the right, successful. Charges up the middle now with Terminators. That's a fail. Let's spend a CP. That's a fail. Oh dear. So, Khan is free to run around along with the Demon Prince and 3 Khorne Berserkers, which can kill about as much as 28 Primaris Marines. Last thing left to charge over here is Demon Primarch Mortarion into Terminators. At least they're not Poxwalkers, then I would be worried. Do you know why I'd be worried if they went into Poxwalkers? Right, okay.
It's never going to get old, is it?
It's never going to get old. Where should I start? He's going to be okay. Mortarion's going to be okay. I have to start the fight phase down here with Fluffy. Fluffy raises his Hellforged sword and hits on 2s, and he'll wound. On 2s, re-rolling everything, and they need to make 6 up saves. And 6 of them get wiped out. And then the Talon hits and wounds and a 5-up save. And there is 1 Khorne Berserker remaining. And then the Hellbrute comes piling in. And the Hellbrute smashes through that last Khorne Berserker with ease, helping clear out the back passages all the way over here. It's important that you clear out your back passage once in a while. But we're coming back here to the Terminators, who are paying to interrupt. And they're going to smack Mortarion. The champion with the fist has 6 attacks, and he's going to hit on 4s because it's a fist.
You're -1 to hit anyway because of asthma.
Yes. Strength +1 as well on the fist, plus the ×2, so you're winning on 3s, which is nice. And he did spend the CP on Gory Dismemberment. No 6s yet. I make both of my invulnerable saves. Then each of these guys has 5 attacks, 20 attacks to come. Actually, it's 25 attacks because all the accursed weapons give you extra attacks. And one of them's got 2. So 3s to hit with a bajillion attacks. Ouch. Which is 4s to hit. Yes, I caught it. We caught it. All right, 5's to wound.
Yes, because I should be strength 6.
Yes.
But you thingied me, so I'm down to 5.
Yes.
And that's still 3s, right?
Yes. I thingied you.
You thingied me with some psychic
And there's
thingy.
a couple of mortal wounds.
Hey.
Your rolling has been awful. 4 up invulnerable saves. I failed all of them. Maybe we should swap dice. And the feel no pains. And there was another feel no pain.
2 more for this mortals.
Okay, 4, 5. He takes 5 wounds. It did hurt. So Mortarion's got 9 wounds remaining. He's down to 6 attacks. He's going to do the overhand swing, the eviscerating blow. We saw how the last one went. Let's see how this one goes. He does hit on 2s. And the overhand swing is strength 16. And every failed save you make will absolutely obliterate one. Because he does do D3 plus 3 damage, just like Angron with his big. That was 6. 6.
5 dudes left.
Yep. You've saved 3 of them. And at the end of that combat, there is morale to take, though. These are leadership 10. Don't roll a 5 or 6. You don't roll a 5 or 6. You've got 3 Khorne Berserkers in the middle. They're leadership 8.
9.
Are they? Okay.
Yes.
So you're rolling for it. 5 plus the many you lost.
Enough.
You're going to lose one more.
Yes.
I hate the fact that they have morale. Why aren't they fearless? Ones. You're okay. Just losing 1 to morale. Let's say that it wasn't morale. Let's say that they succumbed to their injuries. So that's the end of the first chunk of the game, the end of turn 2. And it's 15 points each. I actually managed to storm a hostile objective over there. The corner of the battlefield where Angron was, which I thought was at most peril, I turned out to be in no peril whatsoever. Storming that hostile objective there. Haven't got overwhelming firepower yet or battlefield supremacy yet, but Alex Sessio is up to 6 blood type points, which means Angron can come back in turn 3 if he wants to. Over here, he's still got his exalted 8-bound out of close combat, and that Hellbrute is still ready to fire for effect. That Demon Prince can come jumping forward anytime as well, and my Terminators are somewhat exposed over here. So we've got a right bloodbath on our hand. Units are dying all over the place as we go on to World Eaters turn 3. The orders for the World Eaters are to kill, maim, burn, blood and guts in close combat, grind them down, kill more units than I kill of units, and no prisoners, just kill, 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 kill as much as possible, kill, maim, burn. And you know that 15 points each bit that I did? Well, I completely forgot about the primaries. They're up to 30 points. So it's 30 points to 15. And kill, maim, burn. At the end of the movement phase, it looks like this. Angron is back, reborn in blood, and extremely annoyed that Poxwalker's managed to melt his flesh last turn. It looks like he's going to come flying in to take on Mortarion. The Exalted, shame on them. Just walk straight past my Demon Primarch. Where are they going? He's here. Where? I don't understand.
Soft meat.
Oh, the soft meat. My Plague Marine's back here, along with your Demon Prince. The Khorne Berserker's in the middle. Well, there's a big pile of skulls here. Look, next to that statue.
Just hanging out.
So they're just piling more skulls there for now. And it looks like Khan the Betrayer is going to go after a Hellbrute and a Demon Prince on his own. How very Khan. So let's go on to the shooting phase. From the Hellbrute, las cannons and missile launchers coming into the drone.
Cannons.
Both of them hit. Both of them wound. 5 of them guns. 1 gets through, d6 damage. That is only 1 wound on the drone. And the missile hits and doesn't wound. And that was pretty much it. That guy, what did you say?
He's pretty useless, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's done nothing.
Yeah, he's done nothing.
I think I might bring the one with the fist next time.
And just go charging forward.
Why not? Everybody else is. He feels left out.
Yeah, I mean, you can put rhinos, reverse them onto your home objectives and things like that.
Who cares about
Oh, we've got to do Khan. Let's shoot Khan's plasma pistol.
Here's number 2.
Nice. Strength 8. I don't think I get a save. Let's see if I roll a 6 and then we'll have to check the book. No. And it's actually 2 damage becomes 1 damage. It takes a wound off my Hellbrute. It's on 7 remaining. We did a couple of other little pistols here or there. I think that's it.
Charge.
Now we're going to charge. Should we start with Angron?
Angron.
It's an 8-inch charge.
He's an 8.
Khorne.
That's not enough.
No. Command point.
Gotta be done. Gotta be done. Come on.
Angron rolls a 7. He appears out of the warp and just manages to... He bends his ankle. He twisted his ankle on the way in. Demon Prince against Plague Marines.
He is going in.
He's in. Exalted 8 bound against Plague Marines. This is a 6.
Oh, look, now we're good. Now we're good.
And at the end of the charge phase, these Plague Marines look like they're in trouble. Carr needed a 4-inch charge and manages to come smashing in to my Hellbrute over here. I do have 3 CPs left. I can interrupt somewhere. Where would you like to start, Alex SEO? So, Khan, you're saying?
Yes.
Why?
Because it'd be rude not to.
He would be very angry.
He would be very pissed. Even more.
2s to hit my Hellbrute. Khan hits every time, of course he does. 5s to wound, however. We just checked the book. Because these are -4.
Yes.
So I don't get a save. And they're 3 damage each, which become 2 damage each. So he one-shots a Hellbrute. OMG, train is falling over. The Hellbrute doesn't blow up. Khan wins his one-on-one duel with a Hellbrute. He comes piling in. I reset the terrain, and I'm not paying to interrupt. I'm not. Because you're not going to kill Moratrion over there. And these Plague Marines, I mean, what are they going to actually do?
Keithus.
Well, there is Keith in there. If this is Keith, I'll pay to interrupt. It isn't Keith. I don't see the point. 1, 2, 3, I interrupt. It says 4, 5, 6, but that means Zinch says don't interrupt, and you should never listen to Zinch. That means I'm paying 2 CP to interrupt. Right, I paid all my CP. I played the other one for trench fighters as well, which means I get extra attacks with my plague knives. This guy isn't fighting. If I'm going to do it, let's do it, and let's put all attacks into your Demon Prince. And I'm going to hit them on 3s. Oh dear. Strength 4, toughness 6, 5s to wound.
Toughness 5, but -1 to wound.
Oh yeah, because you're... So this is 6 to wound. Oh no. Okay, it's a plague weapon. I don't wound you. There is a Pound Fist. The Pound Fist could do it. I hit all the time with the Pound Fist. This will be forced to wound them with the Pound Fist instead of 3s because you're -1 to wound. 5 up, invulnerable save. He's got 5 wounds remaining. He's still got 5 wounds remaining because then the Flail of Corruption comes in. And this will wound on strength 5, toughness 5. 5s to wound you. 2 more invulnerable saves, Alex SEO. I think your Demon Prince is going to survive. He does survive. He makes... We were saying earlier that your saving throws have been atrocious.
It's coming back.
And then you just bossed every single save. Right. After my Plague Marine singularly fell to take down the Winged Demon Prince of Khorne, the 8-bound Exalted are going to fight. He's spending 2 CP on Red Butchers, which gets their Chain Fists up to damage 3, which of course becomes damage 2 against Death Guard, but will kill every single Death Guard they touch. And you're hitting on 2s.
I am. Do I get my reroll?
Drop dice don't count. Not re-rolling Exalted aren't core, but they are going to wound on 2s. They're strength 10 right now. And that's AP -4, 3 damage. There's 7 Plague Marines there. You wipe out every single one. And you still had 12 attacks on the dude. So the 8-bound wipe out the Plague Marines with ease. And the Demon Prince jumps forward, closer to both of my tanks. The 8-bound stay on the objectives. And now it's time for Moratrion to smack out with these 2 remaining Terminators. He raises his great scythe, Silence, and hits on 2s, and he can re-roll them because he's buffing himself and he'll wound them on 2s. And they need to make every single 5+ invulnerable save or get cut in half by the Demon Primarch, Moratrion. Moratrion consolidates forward. Angron may have failed the charge to get in base contact with Moratrion, but I'm certainly going to go after him in my turn, and that is the Underworld Eater's turn 4. They end up getting 4 Blood Tithe points that turn because of all the stuff they've killed, and all of a sudden, I haven't got very many infantry around here. The Demon Prince, the 8-bound, there's a lot of hate down this side of the battlefield, which I thought was secure last turn. And we have a rampant Khan the Betrayer coming straight after Fluffy. So I've still got problems in my back passage. I haven't cleared my back passage out fully away. Right, the Death Guard only pick up 5 on the primary. Basically, the World Eaters are all over the board and they're maxing out the primaries all the time, pushing me into the corner. So it's 35 points to 20. I'm 15 behind. Kill 2 more things for overwhelming firepower and kill one of the characters. Kill Khan, I think, is probably easiest to get. Angron, when he comes back, is on 8 wounds, right?
Correct.
He isn't even on his lowest bracket. and capture the enemy outpost, which I think Angron is on, or it could be the one on the other side, I don't know. Anyway, I need all of these to just get back into a draw. Right, before we move, we're starting over here with the Poxwalkers, because I'm spending the CP that I got this turn for the Dead Walk again. Well, I can only do this once per unit. You roll 7 dice, and for every 3+ you get a Poxwalker back. So that unit of 2 have reformed to a unit of 8. The next thing I do is in my psychic phase, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm scared of Khan. He one-shot the Hellbrute, so I'm going to smite him. That passes. And that does 2 mortal wounds to him, putting him down to 3 remaining, which is perfect because my Hellforged sword does 3 damage in the middle. Oh yeah, you can shrug it. You can shrug it.
You're too kind.
You don't shrug it. In the middle, the Blightlord Terminators move forward to try and contest that objective. Down in my corner, in my deployment zone, it's emergency, Demon Prince in amongst your lines, emergency, kill Demon Prince. And then, of course, over towards the World Eaters deployment zone, brother on brother action. It's going to kick off. Moratrion is staring down at Angron, and I'm going to smite. And I fail, and I haven't got any CP left. And he's going to Miasma of Pestilence himself. So in case I can't kill Angron, just in case. I mean, he died to Poxwalkers earlier. I don't know if you noticed.
Should have no trouble.
He should, but I need to Miasma himself. He Miasmas himself, so he's going to be -1 to hit. And I might as well try and give him 1 less attack. Gift of Contagion. And that works as well. So he's down 1 attack. Because instead of 39,000 attacks, he might only have 38,000 attacks. That is the end of my movement phase. You might try and stop the miasma. I would.
On a 4-up.
On a 4-up. Scorn of Sorcery.
He really wants to hurt his brother.
No, the miasma is going off. I don't think you passed one of them yet.
No,
okay. Right, he pulls out his pistol and shoots his brother in the face and wounds him. 4+ invulnerable save, Angron. Let's start as we mean to go on.
Coward. Ha.
Yeah, just bounces, blah, 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 blah. I'm excited. Blah, 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 blah. The plasma, the bling, and the thing is off the thing, and he goes, rah, 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 rah. That's what happens there. Okay. Operation Kill the Demon Prince. Mortar everything, point blank range into him. He must die. Entropy cannons. One of them hits. And it is a plague weapon now. And it wounds. Demon Prince needs a 4+ invulnerable save to shooting. And this is
D3 plus 3.
D3 plus 3. Do you want to command point it? You've got 5 there.
I've got lots. Let's do it.
You have.
Yay.
Oh dear. Dark light just bends around the demon's body. Then the stubby stub guns didn't manage to wound. Then the mortar fires 3 times and hits 3 times and wounds on 4s instead of 3s because of the -1 to wound thing. And 2 more 4-up demon saves. And the demon's on 3 wounds remaining. And what I'd really like to do with this one is put 3 damage on the Exalted 8-man because they've got 3 wounds. But I don't have any CP left. So I'm going to just have to try and kill that demon. Let's try and kill the demon with the second tank. Both of the Darkfire cannons hit. One of them wounds with the reroll. Just one of them wounds. 50-50 chance on the invulnerable save. Drop dice, don't count.
Just building the tension. Building the tension.
Oh, you failed the save, and that is 6 damage, and the demon gets wiped out. And that is the end of my shooting phase. I do mean to charge Angron. I do mean to charge these Plague Marines by the statue in the middle. And by Plague Marines, I mean Angry Boys in Red, Khorne Berserkers. So I don't want to shoot them. I also do mean to charge Khan the Betrayer down here. But I'm very worried about this because there's definitely CP, enough CP to interrupt. Right, charge phase. Fluffy makes the charge. I'm not charging in with the Poxwalkers. They're just reforming, okay? There was 2. The gang are back together again. Over here, in the middle of the battle grid, I think it's a 7 or an 8, with the Terminators up the gut. And a 6 ain't going to cut it. And I was about to shout CP reroll, and then I remembered I don't have any CP, so failing to pull the trigger there, failing to make that charge, means that these Berserkers, they're blessed by Khorne as they're piling up skulls at the feet of the angel over here. And then over here, essentially it's 2 inches of a barricade, so you can't fail. So it's Moratrion versus Angron. I've got 6 attacks. I hit my erstwhile brother on 2s. And then wound on 2s. Reroll those, plague weapon wise, causing 5 wounds to Angron, the Red Angel. 5 4+ invulnerable saves coming up. Come on, boy. Okay, good luck. Oh, you make it. This will keep Angron alive because this is D3 plus 3 wounds. In the end, I do put 6 wounds on him. But Angron is down to 2 wounds remaining. He's still in the fight. But before we find out whether the Red Angel can take out Moratrion with 9 wounds remaining, of course, Khan is paying to interrupt. He doesn't want Demon Prince Fluffy to smack him. And he's got 10 attacks. Khan lifts Gorechild and hits on 2s. Nice. And 6s explode because you've upgraded with the Blood Ties.
I'll take 5 points for martial excellence.
Okay.
Which means 6s to explode in close combat.
Nasty. So that's 11 hits with Khan's 10 attacks. For those keeping score, they've also got the 5 up shrug to mortal wounds, the +1 to charge, or +1. Yeah, okay. 4 still wound. And these are -4?
Yes.
3 damage a time. So that becomes 2 damage a time. So that will kill him. I need to make 3 5s here. Can I touch your dice? I'm touching your dice. They're my dice. They're my dice, really. These dice are available from the deploymentzone.tv merchandise page. I don't have any CP. I need at least 3 5s. Drop dice don't count. So that's 2 saves so far. Oh, my demon's alive on 2 wounds remaining. You got this, Fluffy. He hits back on 2s and re-rolls, and he'll wound on 2s. And that's a lot of 4-up invulnerable saves Khan needs to make. Sigil of Corruption. So Khan nearly took out my Demon Prince, YOLOing in there on his own, gets him all the way down to 2 wounds remaining, but pays the price. And now, talking about demons on 2 wounds remaining, Angron is going to smack back against Moratrion. Right, because I charged Angron, he's got 9 attacks back, and he times that by 3. 29 attacks back, hitting on 2s, 6s explode. And you're re-rolling those 1s. You're not re-rolling those 1s because you weren't on the board in the command phase to give himself the things to get.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But the 6s explode. Yes. He's angry, he's strength 10, he wounds on 3s. Oh yeah, and he couldn't have re-rolled to wound anyway because Moratrion. Anyway, I've got 9 wounds. I've got to make a lot of 4-up invulnerable saves. That's cocked. I did okay. I only failed 6. 4. He's down to 5 left. Okay, that's the end of turn 3. What an absolute bloodbath. Down here in the streets, we have an empty rhino, some poxwalkers, and my demon prince. Finally, I might no longer be molested by world eaters trying to rip my arms off. In the middle, well, those 2 corn berserkers are still building their pile of skulls and hanging in there. But more importantly, because they're there, and the rhino, and over here, and the exalted over here, the exalted 8-bound, Alex does outnumber me on primary objectives. This puts the world eaters 25 points in the lead. That makes it 45 points to 25 as we go into turn 4, but the world eaters are beginning to run out of assets. And what are the exalted 8-bound going to do? Are they going to come running off of that and leave that? Well, of course they are. They're going to come running off of that and leave that objective behind. Will the world eaters, will the corn berserker stay on that objective? I don't know. And in the battle between the 2 Primarchs, who will prevail? Remember, in the world eaters' turn this turn, Moratrion gets to go first. Moratrion gets to go first. But let's find out what the orders are for the world eaters. So the world eaters mean to press this advantage by area denial, denying the Death Guard the centre of the battle grid. To do that, though, they need to kill their Terminators, the Terminators that are coming towards them, and defend their stronghold, which the Hellbrute is currently on, but will he be on it at the end of my turn? And no prisoners, 8 more wounds of stuff to collect the no prisoners secondary. Okay, so in the ruins of the city themselves, you said, well, let's leave the corn berserkers here. They're going to die next turn. Anyway, and it is keeping my Terminators, my Demon Prince, and my Poxwalkers somewhat occupied over here. And you only have 2 units left crawling through the ruins, because everything else is focusing on Demon Primarch Moratrion. But we're going to start the shooting phase with the Hellbrute. I'm really interested to see if he can actually kill something. Try and kill that drone. The last cannon's hit. And they wound this time. And I failed one of the saves. Last time you did 1 damage, this time you do another 1 damage. Can the missile hit? No, it does another 1 damage to the drone. Now we fight. Okay, we did some small arms. No damage was caused. Then we went charging in. The Exalted 8-bound are going to try and kill Moratrion, because otherwise Moratrion goes first. Kills Angron. Spending 2 CP on Red Butchers. 10 attacks on the charge with the 8-bound chain fists. Hitting on 3s though, because of miasma. And you're only missing one of them, and that 6 explodes, so you don't miss at all. Your strength 10, toughness 8.
Easy.
Get your chain fist to 3 damage, which becomes 2 damage, because Moratrion. 4 up invulnerable saves. Oh, look at that. 4 damage comes through, which he can shrug. He shrugs 2 of them. He's on 3 wounds remaining. Then the 2 guys with chain fists get 2 additional attacks, 1 each, with chain fists, and 1 of them hits. And wounds. 4+ invulnerable save. Yes. And then it's the champion guy?
Yes.
With his 12 attacks. With his heavy chain glaive, which hits on 3s because of miasma or pestilence. And there's an explosion. And it's strength 8 on the charge. So this wound on 4s. Each hit. Oh, they're all 1 damage. I've got to make a lot of 4s and then a lot of shrugs. Wish me luck, Alex.
Bad luck. Wishing bad luck.
Ooh, 4 get through. Right, so revoltingly resilient. If I roll 2 5s, no, 1, yeah, 2 5. I need 2 5s to keep Moratrion alive, so I can smack. At least it's not like getting killed. Do you remember that time ages ago when the Primarch and the Poxwalkers it was? Oh no! He fails them. Moratrion gets cut down by the Exalted 8-bound. Moratrion blows up on a 4. He does. And he does D3 mortal wounds to the Exalted 8-bound. 2 mortal wounds, which they can shrug on 5s. Because you bought your thing. And one of them gets splashed with a bit of goo, but doesn't die. And does D3 mortal wounds on Angron, who's got 2 wounds remaining.
It's going to be a 1. It's going to be a 1.
Will Moratrion, when he exploded, did he like try and lean and fall, like collapse against him, like, nah? And the acid splash all the way down his front. 2 mortal wounds. He can shrug as well. Your whole army. 2 5-ups. Well, you can't. Yeah, but you can't re-roll a shrug, can you?
Why not?
It's a hit, wound, saving, psychic test, those things, isn't it?
Just to make it simple.
Yeah. Oh, he's alive on 1 wound left. And that is no prisoners. And that gets the World Eaters up to 50 points to 25. And it doesn't look like I'm going to get anywhere near your stronghold. So it looks like you'll be defending your stronghold as well. The Death Guard will only get 10 points on the primaries. So it'll be 15 points behind. And my Primarch does not come back. However, there are 2 Khorne Berserkers over here that look somewhat exposed. And Demon Primarch, non-Demon Primarch, Demon Prince Fluffy is now the head of this operation. Everything will work out fine. Let's go on to my orders phase in turn 4. Right, it's 35 to 50. Just kill 1 more thing with overwhelming firepower with a gun. I can do that. Defend my stronghold. No retreat, no surrender. This one's a pain in the ass because I want Fluffy to move off that objective. And what I mean by that is the Poxwalkers are swarming all over this objective. And I would have liked to get Fluffy up there so then I could charge and get your home objective. But with no retreat, no surrender, you can't fail morale, but you can't move off an objective that you control. You can charge off of one. The Terminators should make short work of those 2 Khorne Berserkers in the middle of the battlefield. And over here, defend my objective, sure. I hear that. That means reverse a bit. And fire lots of guns down the table at Angron, the Red Angel. Over here, I am going to put miasma on them. Yeah, let's put miasma on them. I failed to put miasma on them and perils. So because he's only on 2 wounds remaining, spending the CP that I got this to re-roll that. Okay, so I've got no CP. At least I don't perils. At least my Terminators are -1 to hit. And now I've got a couple of tanks that are really, really hoping they can take that last wound off Angron and remove him from this battlefield for good. Here's the entropy cannons, and they both miss. I'm not saying the gunner's scared, but it looks like he's scared. Let's fire the mortar in for 4 shots, which will hit on 3s. I mean, who will be scared to shoot at a demon Primarch that died to some... he heard in the canteen. He had a rumour once that... Anyway, 3 wounds on Angron, 3 4+ invulnerable saves. And that is 4 damage. Right, at the end of your thing, the morale phase, you paid for the 6-up shrug.
I did.
With the blood tithe points.
Wrathful Devotion.
Wrathful Devotion, okay.
Yeah, so I just need 4 6s.
Yeah, 4 6s. I've seen this before.
No worries.
No. Angron's gone, and he does not explode. And that is overwhelming firepower, which leaves this tank and this drone free to fire in at the Exalted. And the drone hits on 3s and hits 4 times and wounds on 3s, re-rolling 1s and wounds 3 times. And Exalted have 4+ invulnerable saves. With 6-up shrugs on the first model, he's still on 1 wound remaining.
And then he dies.
And then the entropy cannons only take out 1. Here's the mortar. It shoots once and hits and wounds. And that's a 4-up invulnerable save as well. And that's 2 damage, 2 6s. You didn't shrug any of them. And then I realised I got it messed up. Thanks, though.
Right.
I'm glad you're here. Beforehand, I killed you with the drone. I've still got the entropy cannons on this tank.
You do.
To fire in at these guys, which hit once and plague weapon, wound once. Okay, 4-up invulnerable save. And you're fine. And that's all the shooting from over here. I'm not going to shoot into the centre because I'm going to charge. They can't fail the charge twice in a row, can they? No, they can't. 7 Blightlord Terminators go charging in to 2 Khorne Berserkers. And though much I'd like to say that those Khorne Berserkers could withstand those Blightlord Terminators, they can't. I take that centre objective, and that's the end of turn 4. It's 40 points to 50. The World Eaters are 10 points in the lead. I managed to get overwhelming firepower. And they've got a Hellbrute and some Exalted 8-bound. And they've got... their Rhino over here wants 8 wounds remaining, which is very Khorne. And they just defended their stronghold for an extra 5 points. And they get 10 more points on the primary, maxing the primary out no less on 45 points. And they get Secure No Man's Land, Raise a Banner, and a Tempting Target. So I put the Tempting Target down in this corner of the battlefield, which the World Eaters can't do. That Rhino can't raise a banner. And to secure No Man's Land, you had to advance here. If you didn't have to advance, you could have just walked onto it and raised a banner as well. But this is Secure No Man's Land because you're on 2 objectives. And then the Hellbrute fired out. And all the shots came flying in and hit and wound the drone. You took another wound off. And that is the end of the World Eater's turn. In turn 5, they only have 3 units remaining. They only have 4 bodies remaining on the battle grid. But how many points did they get? The World Eaters end up with 25 points on the secondaries and maxing out the primaries, which puts them on 70 points. Now, I was on 40 points, but I have defended my stronghold this turn, and I have got no retreat, no surrender. That makes it 50 points to 70. I'm 20 points behind, and I'm on 1, 2, 3 objectives. The World Eaters are on 3 objectives. If I kill one of these units, then I'll be on more objectives than the World Eaters. And then there's a chance to win the game, depending on what secondaries I'm on. Right, as long as I kill one of these units, 65 points to 70, just double checking everything. I've got a raise banner on No Man's Land. The Terminators have to do that because Poxwalkers can only complete Spread the Sickness actions. So there's 5 points, and that's a draw. Area Denial, you're not within 12 of the centre. That's a win if I kill one of these units and investigate site. They can't do both of these actions in the middle. They have to do one or the other. So, okay, what we're saying is kill a Rhino or something, or the Exalted 8-bound, and win the game. Okay, here we are after my moon phase. I've got 2 shots at this. Shoot all the 8-bound here. That is 1 shot. And over there, Fluffy bundling forward. That's a 7-inch charge. Nurgle wants it. That's my fallback option. Fluffy will smite. That's a super smite on the Rhino, which puts 2 wounds on it. And it shrugs one of them. And that's the end of my psychic phase. Now, Operation Kill the 8-bound. I'm going to do all the entropy cannons together. You ready for this? Are you ready for this? 3's to hit. Everything hits. 3's to wound now. Toughness 5. Re-rolling 1s. And that is 4+ invulnerable saves. 3 of them. Okay, the first one does 5 damage. The second one does 5 damage because you have a bunch of shrugs.
I had to command point that, surely.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Okay, right, yeah. 5 6s and 5 6s. The Exalted 8-bound for the win.
I think we can confidently say that guy's dead.
What, 5 6s on one guy? Yeah, but he's got 3 wounds to get through. No, he's dead as well. And by raising the banner next to this Temple of Skulls in the middle of the battlefield, the Death Guard win this game by 5 points. With the painting standard, it would be 80 points to 85, something like that. But it is a win for the Death Guard and for Moratrion. And let's not forget that on this day in 2023, in the 31st millennium, Angron got taken out by a unit of Poxwalkers. Right, so battle map from urbanmaps.com, all the scenery from marchofwar.co.uk, except for the stuff that is from Games Workshop. If you'd like to support me, then consider becoming a channel member. Tier 3 channel members unlocks my Discord and loads of extra videos like that. And Alex, what do you think of that?
That was fun.
What do you think of World Eaters now with all the upgrades and all the things and all the stuff?
I like it. One thing I did find is, maybe it's just me not being that used to it, but the stratagems aren't so useful. I think I used Scorn of Sorcery. And that was...
I think you used Scorn and Sorcery a couple of times and always failed it.
Yeah.
You used those Red Butchers a couple of times for +1 damage.
But against you, it kind of wasn't worth it, right? Because most of my stuff's 1 damage becomes 2, back to 1.
Yeah. I mean, how often are you going to use Smokescreen?
Yeah.
Or the other one, which is, you did have some sigils of things that allow you to charge.
Which can charge 3d6, but
yeah,
you're never really that far away when you move forward 12 on the first turn.
I think that's the thing. I think World Eaters cover the board and score as much as possible, and that's what you do. We should mention to everyone that in our test game, while I was testing out the rules and thrashing it out, that you won by a lot.
Yes. Angron did better the first game.
But what I did do is, I didn't, because you charged forward and he was locked up, I couldn't shoot him, and then you killed him in my turn, and then you charged forward and locked up and I couldn't shoot him, and you didn't have to pay those 6 blood tithe points to get him back, because I think there was like 1 occasions where I could shoot him and knock him down by half, but you might as well just spit in the wind or something. Because he killed... I mean, there was 1 occasion in the previous game where you multi-assaulted 2 units with Angron and did half that way, and killed everything.
Yeah.
But in this game, he got taken out by a unit of Poxwalkers.
He did. We won't talk about that.
Okay. I can edit that out. Exalted 8-bound. Love those guys. They are scary.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're very fun.
The one guy with 12 attacks, that's silly.
12 attacks.
Who else gets 12 attacks?
And it's strength 7 or 8? No, it's +1, and on the charge it goes to strength 8.
8 on the charge.
So it's a non-unwieldy, hitting on 2s. Yeah.
Strength 8 -3 1 damage is brutal.
It's crazy. And you can spend the CP to get it up to 2 damage. And all of the fellas that are here in are 2 damage, but you spend 2 CP. Like that's what you did. Red Butchers, 2 CP, getting it up to 3 damage.
It's only worth it on them because they're already 2.
Yeah.
So
anything against Death Guard, you'd be just murdering Blade Guard veterans, Terminators, things like that. But it was even useful against Death Guard because...
You got rid of Mortarion, right?
You blended Mortarion with them, and you blended a unit of 7 Plague Marines entirely on their own. It's like that unit is really, really good, and Games Workshop want to sell loads of them. To be fair, though, there's no shooting in a World Eaters army.
No.
If you had to add some shooting, would it be Predators? Would it be Forge Fiends? Would it be a Defiler? What does your itch tell you? Because those are literally your choices.
I think if you got the Forge Fiends...
Yeah.
Then they can come with the Disciples of the Red Angel build, because they're demons.
And then your 8-bound can become objective secure.
Exactly, yeah. Which is
so if
the other way to use the codex, basically.
Okay. So go with Forge Fiends if you're going to add some DACA. Because you want to crack open a few vehicles before you go flying in. But basically, this wasn't enough.
No, he did nothing.
He did nothing. He took 3 wounds off a drone in 3 turns.
He did.
Another thing you could do is just ignore the shooting and just go,
yeah, I'm thinking swap him for one with a fist and a melter and get out there with everybody else. Right?
Yeah. But this time we did see the blood tithe thing come into effect. We did see Angron jump around and do all of his things. We just did see just how resilient Death Guard are. I think we knew that one now. But
you've got a lot left.
I have got a lot left. Yeah, mainly because I kept it in the corner away from you as much as possible. Tried not to. It's like a spring. You came against me. You came all up at me. You came over me. And then I sprung back and came back all across the table with pus and filth and other sticky things. And by the end of the game, the end of all things, have come all across this battle grid. And this is the way the world ends.